So you guys want to talk about AI Netflix with Sora?
Yeah.
Yep.
So this might get people very angry, but like I don't know, I personally feel like Hollywood and stuff is going to like become like broad view musicals in the future, right? Because what if you think about like where does Hollywood and stuff get their stories? They go to books, they go to real life stories, and then they convert it into movies, right? So over time, like I think Sora, I don't know if they've been released or not, but over time they can already make really sick videos, right? So it's like what's really stopping them the next step of saying, hey, let me take the story, convert it into a movie. And like Josh, this is your realm, right? Like storytelling, the visual effects, the director and that stuff. Do you feel like the AI can like we could kind of structure the AI in a way that it could take over all the roles that you need to make a film? And like you have the story, you can make anything you want. You don't need a green screen anymore. You want a guy jumping on a plane, you can do that. Like I feel like movies in the future are just going to be all AI made as the default because it's going to be easier to make. Any filmmaker can make it, right? At some point. And then now, why would you hire this big budget Hollywood movie star? And let's say Game of Thrones is a very famous show, right? People are gonna make 100 Game of Thrones fan fiction, and people are gonna watch it, right? So like some version of an AI Netflix is going to take over, and I think it's gonna be the default, and then the cost of watching entertainment is gonna drop. And what do you guys?
Yeah, that's just a great philosophical question that, that's like a multi-billion dollar question is just whether or not society will take to it. Because well, no, I'm not even going to say most. I would say the industry is in general very split on whether or not AI is going to just like replace the jobs of all these filmmakers that are out there.
But George, let me ask you a different question. Like when's time you watched a movie, went to the theater, and did you actually want to watch it, or like you know what I'm saying? Like do you feel like oh I must watch this movie? It came out. How do you feel about that?
Yeah.
On YouTube. When's the last time you felt about that? Like
I went a few days ago to see Twisters actually. But you know what? That movie, I mean, well, it was like a great summer flick, like, total entertainment, like you had like tornadoes just over and over and over again, like super entertaining. But also like the story was just so like two-dimensional that like it could have been written by an AI. Like I swear like it could have been written by an AI. But that doesn't even, and even if it was, like, it would still be a good movie because I can confirm that, like, I recommend going to see Twisters. Like, you will guaranteed be entertained for 2 hours or whatever it is. I think that really where this is all going is it's just gonna be like the option will be there. And I think that the human touch is going to be necessary always, and that will be the premium entertainment. And what you're saying before, it's like
I'm not
these.
saying AI is going to replace everything. I'm just saying you're a filmmaker. You just say, okay, I have an AI DP, I have an AI director. You know what I'm saying? It's just like you have all the roles for you that you need to make a film on a way lower budget, and you could do everything yourself. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to go hire that person. You don't have to hire that person. Like the budgets are like way smaller. And
It's for people who don't have a camera crew, basically people who aren't ready to spend thousands on making what they're trying to make. So it really could empower small filmmakers and people that are maybe studying film or writing. It's also the AI image generation and the video generation is for the storyboarding stuff. I don't use it very often, but every now and then it really does make sense to use these different, generative models to put stuff in front of a client and say, hey, this is the direction that we want to go in when we get the physical thing. And then it gives them that confidence of like, oh, we know what we're going to get. And then I also have the confidence of knowing that there's not going to be a bunch of back and forth after I send it to them because what we shared with them in the beginning was so aligned with our conversation.
yeah. So did you guys see
So
the story?
movies.
Yeah, but did you hear the story from like the animation studios from Japan? Like when you know anime, they said and during COVID, you hear that one, right? Where they said that like the whole COVID, like everyone
Got
caught
wiped.
COVID. They had 2 people left, and they still finished the film because they had generative AI to make the frames, and then it could tween the middle ones, so that like
Wow.
people deliver a whole series just using AI. So that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah, they're primed. The animation industry is primed for it. Like now anybody can, I think everybody should be making animated movies because it's really such a great medium that like, right now, for example, in like Hollywood, let's call it Hollywood pricing, like what it really costs to get like the highest level of quality done with animation. It's like for like a simpler shot, it's like 30-40K per shot. But if it's something with like high complexity, let's say you have a bunch of explosions and crowds and other things like that, you can find yourself into like $80,000 per shot. And now this is just turning basically getting 80% of the way there for a literal like 0.01% of the cost.
exactly.
So that's really incredible. And that's just going to empower people in the industry, honestly. So, I really think it's just going to be a tool in the end. And I think that it's inevitable that like Netflix, unless if they want to like be another blockbuster case study, they're going to try something like this. I sort of have a feeling that what Netflix would do,
I think it's gonna be a new startup. I don't think Netflix can do it. I think another company. Like, it's gonna be a brand new company that does it.
quick idea though that you could sell to Netflix because Netflix has an insane amount of data over sometimes decades of people's lives of the movies that they like and don't like. So Netflix could be generating one-time movies for their customers. Just a one-time movie. We say, hey, we made this movie and it's optimized for you. We know that you're going to love it because we've been studying, like, we know that you watched this movie like 3 times over the last 7 years, and then it just generates that for you. That in itself would create an insane amount of viral content because you can just make them a trailer that goes with it that's 30 seconds long and then have a little button on the bottom that says share to your story on Instagram. And now Netflix basically has like the ultimate version of Spotify Wrapped, I guess.
I'm kind of bearish on the fact that Netflix itself internally will try to do a project like that. But as a startup, insane. Netflix will never provide data though. But what's super interesting is that you can get that data from IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, by the ratings, like what movies are good, what movies are bad, and then aggregate the storyline. You can transcribe the film and then figure out what's the best plot and that stuff, and like kind of still it down.
And maybe also use ChatGPT or OpenAI to get some ideas on what are some kind of people with similar profiles that might like these series of titles, and then just like kind of test market these like series of content at first, because like then you can almost like test trailers on a Instagram page to try to at least like validate these ideas before you actually like right now we might not be like, I mean, for animated films, maybe these are definitely great to like at least like test market these with these initial trailer contents. But I was just like thinking a little bit more broadly on like I actually have a thought leadership position on this whole generative AI entertainment content, not coming from like a producer's lens now. I'm coming from like a consumer. It's just having the ability to have like personalized entertainment and then just like prompt a platform to watch a movie for 30 minutes or to an hour that I have the time is going to change my life. So like that might not even justify like a whole production crew or like the entire film industry at all, because of the fact that consumer has the ability to prompt something, like prompt a story that's like relatively complete, and then just like kills my own personal time for like 30 minutes to 2 hours. That's already great for like the long run. Maybe like 10, 20 years it will get there. That's like the end game of like what's probably going to happen. But then there still needs to be like one last puzzle piece, because consumers don't know what they want. So what needs to happen in like the very distant future? It will happen. The technology will be complete by then. But like this puzzle piece needs to be solved, and someone can then start to position themselves as like the expert in this. For consumers to understand themselves, they might need like a entertainment coach to better prompt for themselves on what kind of stories they want to. Yeah.
Why do you come up more artsy?
The entertainment coach with like a psychological or like clinical psychology background that understands, okay, this is like my client's profile, and then they would actually benefit if like they're within this point in their lives, and then to actually benefit from these entertainment content or like storytelling content. And then if you have the right hits of like clinical psychology and also like understand kind of like storytelling and entertainment, then you would just like kill it within the entertainment industry, because like then you would be like the number one kind of entertainment coach. And you can then create a business out of it into like an agency of these entertainment coaches just taking on clients to better prompt themselves on better movies.
Yeah. And there's inherently virality when you're giving these personalized reports to people, because percentage of them are just going to share it. At least conversationally, they're going to be sharing it with their friends and telling them about it. If not, like maybe actually posting it online and talking about it there. Yeah, that's a super interesting one.